I know you have several books on the Sasquatch phenomena, and there is a connection to UFOs with Bigfoot, a lot of people say. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, there absolutely is. It's tenuous, but it's absolutely undeniable because I did look into Bigfoot reluctantly, I have to say. I had a sneaking suspicion it might be real, but had to follow the research where it takes you. You can't basically ignore evidence and expect to solve any mysteries. And I did get a Bigfoot UFO case up in Canyon Country where a gentleman had a UFO land in his backyard, and the very next night had a profound Bigfoot encounter, which he felt was absolutely related. And I soon got other cases. So I started looking into it and did Bigfoot research solely as well, and found, of course, Bigfoot is real. It's all over the world. The accounts reach back several hundred years. There's no doubt about it. The evidence is very much conclusive. It's not just eyewitness reports. There's sound recordings, there's films, there's footprints, hair samples, many reports of bodies, actually, but they're often scooped up and you can track them. They usually disappear towards the Smithsonian or some other government research facility scooping them up. Most people who see a Bigfoot aren't going to see a UFO. It would be like less than 1%, statistically insignificant. And the same, of course, is true for UFOs. If you see a UFO, you're probably not going to see a Bigfoot. But here's the thing. We're left with a smattering of cases, a good 100 or 200, where these two phenomena coincide perfectly. Several occurred in Pennsylvania and were revealed by the great research of Stan Gordon. But, many researchers have cases like these. And it's very curious and hard to figure out because people are speculating, oh, is Bigfoot an ET? Because there's some cases where Bigfoot has been seen going on board a craft or coming out. Some pretty credible reports of UFOs appearing and a Bigfoot, coming at people right while the UFO is there. So there is a connection. My current assessment is that what we're looking at is, Bigfoot are not extraterrestrials. I think the reports go so far back, we can say that they've been here for a long time, are likely sentient as we would think of it, do have what we would call psychic abilities that are quite advanced even, with telepathy, because that comes up quite a bit in firsthand reports, but even things like interdimensional activity in terms of them disappearing or something like this, or turning invisible. I've got a few of my own firsthand cases of this. So I think what we're looking at is that some Bigfoot are what we would consider to be UFO contactees. Oh, I cringe when I think what skeptics might think of this. Like, what? What are you talking about? But we're kind of stuck with these reports. And the fact is, there are enough of them that we can say definitively that there is a connection. So I think that's probably what's going on here, that some Bigfoot are being contacted by ETs, much in the same way humans are. And we do know ETs are interested in all forms of life on this planet because we've been seen collecting soil samples. They've been seen collecting rocks and leaves and twigs and flowers, rabbits, animals of all kinds. I mean, you name it. ETs have come down and scooped up samples, including, human genetic samples. So I think they're basically trying to preserve life on this planet. This is what they've told people. They're very concerned about how we're treating this planet, ourselves, each other. That's a message most contactees will get at some point. So yeah, that's my current assessment of what's going on with the ET Bigfoot connection.
What are the main states where Bigfoot are seen in the U.S.?
The West has got an enormous number of cases. California, Oregon, and Washington lead by far in terms of the number of reports. But every single state in the United States has cases. There's a few even in England. Canada has got an enormous number of reports as well. But they're, of course, not as heavily populated. So I think per capita, California has the most, though others might argue that Washington is right there as well. Florida has quite a few. Georgia, I live now in the Blue Ridge Mountains of northern Georgia, and there's this Bigfoot museum not too far away. I went there, of course, and looked at the map where they had put little dots of where all the sightings were. Quite a few around here as well. They're everywhere. Of course, many different types as well. In California, they're generally much taller than you might see in other countries or other states even. They all go by different names, whether it's Sasquatch or Bigfoot or skunk ape, or all the countries, of course, have their own names for them. And some look very much human-like. I mean, we tend to think of Bigfoot as being completely covered in hair and very ape-like. But some of the descriptions sound much more like almost Neanderthal or wild man, which sounds crazy because you'd think, our world is fully explored. It's not. Most of the human population is clustered along shorelines, rivers, and lakes and cities. There's vast, vast, vast tracts of wilderness out there that, people may have walked through, but still are largely desolate. Absolutely possible for large populations of Bigfoot to remain undetected